Hello everybody and welcome to our first coding class. My name is Charles, you can call me Charlie, and I'm super excited to have you here. As you can see behind me there's some rockets going on, so today we're going to do a coding class around astronauts and rockets. I like them quite a lot. Who doesn't like astronauts and rockets? So, before we start, what do you need to do this class? So, you can be, I have a son that's 5 years old, or almost 5, and an almost 3-year-old, and they can do it. So I'd say from 3 up to more or less 9 years old. And what you need is an iPad. If you don't have an iPad, you can use an Android tablet. If you don't have an Android tablet, you can use a desktop computer or a laptop. And you'll need this app on it called ScratchJr. If you don't have it right now, you can pause the video actually and get one and ask an adult to install the app on it. It also really helps if you have somebody with you. So ask an adult, ask your mom or your dad to do the classes with you. It's only 30 minutes and they can also learn how to code. And they unblock you if there's anything that you can't do. So with that, let's start. Today, we are going to be coding an astronaut trying to come from the moon back to Earth. So as you can see, there's the moon, there's Earth, and there's an astronaut and a rocket. He's currently on the moon, and we're going to try and get him back to Earth. So the way we do that is we're going to ask the astronaut, so we're going to say, dear astronaut, walk towards the rocket, hop inside the rocket, because you see the door is pretty high up there, so we're going to ask him to jump inside. And then when he's inside, you can't see him, so he's going to disappear. And then we're going to ask the rocket to go 3, 2, 1, and blast off. So when he blasts off, the rocket burners are going to start burning. So the rocket trembles and then he goes up. So we're going to do that in coding on our iPad on the app. And the way we do that is just like I told you what he does, we're going to do that in coding language. And in the program that we're using, it comes in these blocks. So there's a lot of blocks. Each one has a color. You don't need to know them right now. We're going to see them in the program. But just for you to see how simple it is, we're going to ask the astronaut to start. So that's this block here, the yellow block with the green flag. Then we're going to ask the astronaut to move to the left. So, yes, it is left. So towards the direction of the rocket. We are then going to tell the astronaut to jump. And that's this blue block here with the jump signal. And then we're going to ask him to disappear because he's already inside the rocket. And that is the coding that you need to do. And when you're finished with that, you just tell it to end that line of code. So we've told the astronaut everything that we need it to do. It's pretty simple. You don't have to memorize it yet. We'll do it in the program, but just for you to know. The second part of it is the rocket. So with the rocket, we're going to say, when the astronaut has reached you, start doing something. So that's this block here. A yellow block with 2 people that says, if somebody touches me, I'm going to start doing what the code tells me to do. Then we're going to say 3, 2, 1, blast off. So that is this microphone here, the block of the microphone. We're going to ask him to tremble. So that's going to be something that we're going to call the rotate. So it's going to rotate a little bit this way and then rotate a little bit that way. And that's how he's going to tremble. So one way and the other way. And then he's going to take off. So that's the movement up. So we're going to ask him to go high in the sky. And when he's finished doing that, we can tell him to stop everything that he's doing because he's already taken off and he's already flying. So if you haven't got that, don't worry. We're going to do everything on the iPad with code. So to start this part, please start your iPads. So I'm going to share my screen. And you should have the app ScratchyJr. Press on ScratchyJr and you're going to get to this screen here with a home and a question mark. Press on the home. So when it starts up this screen, you're going to see that it's pretty empty if you haven't had ScratchJr before. If you already have ScratchJr, you probably have a couple of projects on there. Start with the part on the top left. So this rectangle here with the plus sign. This is how we start a new project. And if you notice, for you to see where I'm pressing, there's this little dark circle going around. So if you don't know where I'm pressing, just look where it is, and that's where you have to tap, okay? So we're going to press on the project, and it's going to create a new project. every time we create a new project, you'll see that this cat, which is, I think his name is ScratchJr, will be in the middle of the screen. We don't need him because we're going to have an astronaut, a rocket, and the moon, so we can take him out. And the way we do that is we press on him and we keep our finger there, so we hold. And he's going to start wiggling and have this red cross. You just touch the red cross, and that's how you take the cat out of the way, or anything else that you want to take out of the way. You press on it for a little while, it's going to wiggle, and that red cross allows you to take it out. The first thing we're going to do is put the background of the moon. And the way we do that is all the way up here, we have this landscape. So where it has like blue and green and this rectangle. So we press on that and all the backgrounds will appear. We're going to scroll down until we see the moon. And it's actually the last background that you can find. So it's way down on the bottom and you can see the moon and the earth. And then when you've selected it, so press on it, you can press on this tick box on the top right. And there we go. You should have the earth and the moon. I'm going to say thumbs up if you do. I've said this a couple of times in the class. So thumbs up if you have that. Awesome. Now we're going to start putting the astronaut and the rocket. So we're going to start with the astronaut. So here on the left, you have this square with a plus sign. That's where you can add objects and where all your objects are. Objects can be characters, they can be balls, they could be a table, they could be anything that you want to put inside your program. So we press on that plus sign and we're going to have all these characters or objects. We scroll down and there's going to be an astronaut. So you can pass the puppies, the elephants, the polar bears. You're going to see people, and then you're going to see 2 bicycles, a red car, a blue car, a plane, and the astronaut. So we're going to press on that astronaut here, and we're going to select him, and then we're going to press this tick box up here. However, you'll notice that the astronaut is missing something. It's missing a face. So we're actually going to put your face on the astronaut. And the way to do that is, again, here on the left, where you see the astronaut, it should be selected yellow, so it's a yellow box, and you have a paintbrush. Press on the paintbrush, and you go into this drawing mode. In drawing mode, you could color the astronaut, you can draw with your finger anything on top of the astronaut, you can also insert a face, which is exactly what we're going to do. So on the right, you have the symbol of a camera. Press on the camera. And now you're going to press right in the middle of that face. So right in the middle of the white, okay? And you'll see that this now goes to camera mode, and you should have your face right in the middle of the astronaut. Move it around a bit until you're right there, and then press on the camera button on the bottom. There we go. So your face should now be in the astronaut. When you've done that, press the tick box on the top right. There we go. Now our astronaut is in the middle, but we kind of want him to the left, if you remember. So we're going to press on him, and we're going to drag him to the left and to the bottom, more or less there. Okay? Cool. Everybody should have, by now, an astronaut with your face on it, the Earth, and the moon. Thumbs up if you do. Awesome. So we're going to go to this left area here where the plus sign is, and we're going to press on the plus sign and again get a new character. So this time we're going to get the rocket. We're going to scroll down, and I think the rocket is the last character of all of them. So we scroll down all the way, and yes, the character is the last one. It's right next to the bus, the boat, another boat, and the rocket. So we press on the rocket, and we're going to press the tick box. And there we have our rocket. So we're going now to drag the rocket next to the Earth. So we press on the rocket and just drag it to the Earth. You put your finger on it, and you move it. Okay? So now that we have everything, so we have our Earth, we have our moon, we have our astronaut, and we have our rocket, we're actually going to start with the coding. So the way you code here is you select an object. So in this case, we're going to start with the astronaut. So to the top left, that's your astronaut. You should press on it, and you're going to see a yellow box around the astronaut. So that means you're coding for that character or object. And we have our coding blocks here. So these, if you look at them, they're similar to the blocks that I showed you when I was explaining what we were going to do. Just for you to see, there's a lot of colors here. So if you press on the yellow, you're going to get all the yellow blocks. And the yellow blocks are starting blocks. For some reason, they will start a line of code. So it could be when you start the program, so that's a green flag, and you'll see that the green flag does something. It can be when you touch the person, so if you touch the astronaut with your finger, he starts to do something. It could be another object touching him, so for example, the astronaut touching the rocket, or it could be messages. Messages we'll get into in a little bit. Then we have the blue blocks. So if you press here on the blue blocks are movement blocks. They make your object or character move in any direction. It can go left, it can go right, up, down, rotate, jump. So any type of movement that you want to do, you come to the blue blocks. Purple are about looks. So they will change the appearance of your object or character. So you can put a speech bubble on him, you can shrink him, you can make him grow, you can make him come to normal size, or you can appear or disappear him. So this is the hiding and this is the appearing. We're actually going to use that one today. Green is anything around sound. So you can do like a pop or you can record your own sound. Orange are some blocks that allow you to change like movement speed or pause him or stop him or do loops. And then red blocks are to end lines of code. So it can be a full stop or it can be that you tell them to repeat that whole line of code. Okay? We'll explain all of this while we're using it. So nothing that you need to memorize right now. So now coding the astronaut. What does he have to do? We said that when the program started, he would have to start moving. So we're going to start with a starting block. That's going back here to the yellow. And this yellow block with a green flag. Just press on it and drag it down here to where you see the astronaut. You can put it anywhere you want. You can put a little bit more that way, a little bit more this way. It doesn't really matter. I kind of like to put it a little bit to the left next to the astronaut, but up to you. So that's going to say when we start the program, so when we press the green flag, start doing something. And we said he had to move. So we're going to go now to the movement blocks. These are these blue blocks. So we're going to ask him to move towards the rocket, and that is that direction, so right. So we're going to get this right block and drag it down. Oops. We're going to drag it down next to the green flag, okay? If you look under this block, it has a number 1. That means move 1 step to the right. We're actually going to ask him to move more than 1 step because for 1 step, he wouldn't make it to the rocket. Let's figure out how many steps he has to move. On the top, you have this rectangle with a grid. So you see the squares in there? We're going to press on that. And now these numbers appear over here and on the bottom. And you can see that our astronaut is on the number 4. So that's his location. He's on block number 4 on this axis. So we're actually going to see where do we think that the rocket is. I think it's somewhere between 17 and 18, but let's say 18. So to go from 4 to 18, he's going to have to do steps wherever there's a number. So 1 step, 2 steps, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 steps. Okay? If you know mathematics, arithmetic, you can also do 18 minus 4 equals 14. So we're actually going to tell him to do 14 steps to the rocket. And the way we change it is we go back to this number 1 and we're going to press on it. And this calculator appears here to the right. And we're going to press 1 and 4 of 14 steps. So you should read 14 down here. That means 14 steps to the right. Now what we said, when he reaches the rocket, we're going to ask him to jump in. And that is this hop button here. So the jumping one. So we're going to drag that one down. Again, you put your finger on it and just drag it down with your finger. And always make sure that you're putting it next to the other coding lines, that they actually fit. So if you put it here, it's not going to do anything. You have to put it next to the other line. You see that it kind of goes a little bit dark and then it just falls into place. You need to make sure that it's right next to each other. So they're kind of glued together. So we said for him to move, we said for him to hop, and now he hops into the rocket. So we're going to make him disappear. And that's the purple blocks. So we go to purple, and we have 2 blocks here at the end. One has a person, but it's kind of empty inside, so he's not filled in. And the other one is the person with him filled in, so all white. This one is to disappear without filled in, and the one filled in is to appear. We're going to ask him to disappear. So we pick up this block and we drag it next to the hop. Okay? And that's all the astronaut needs to do. Walk towards the rocket, jump in the rocket, and disappear. So we finished coding the astronaut. So we can go to our red blocks and tell them to stop. And that is this red block here. It finishes a line of code. Okay? Hopefully you got this on your screen. So you should have yellow block with green flag, the right movement block, so blue block with 14 steps, a hop, a disappear, and a red block to finish. Thumbs up if you do. That is awesome. So now we're going to code the rocket. So we're going to touch on the rocket up here on the left. So press on it. And you should have the rocket here on the left with this yellow box around it. So that says that you're going to code the rocket. You'll notice that the code of the astronaut has disappeared down here because you're coding the rocket. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So the way the rocket starts moving is that it needs the astronaut to touch him. So we're going to go to the starting blocks. Those are the yellow blocks. And we're going to go to this one here that has two people. So a white person and this like gray person. And we're going to drag that one down. We're going to drag that one down next to the rocket. So this says for the rocket to start doing the code when somebody has touched him, in this case, the astronaut. So after he starts, we said that he had to do 3, 2, 1, blast off. So we're going to go to the sound blocks. So that's these green blocks here. And you'll see that there's a microphone. So if you touch on the microphone, this new screen appears. And this is to record your voice. So what you're going to do is press on the red circle and record 3, 2, 1, blast off. And when you're finished, you press the tick box. I'll do it now. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Okay? Now you try it. 3, 2, 1, blast off. And press the tick box. Well done. So now there's this new block that appeared here, which is this green block with a microphone. So we're going to drag that block next to the yellow block. Okay? Cool. And now what we said is that we wanted him to wiggle because the rockets are now going on. So the rocket wiggles. So we're going to go to the movement blocks, the blue blocks, and we're going to drag down these, which are rotating blocks. So what they do is they tell it to rotate the number of times that you have on a number beneath it. So if you do left, it goes that way. If you do right, it goes that way. So we're going to drag them down. So drag one of them down next to the microphone, and then drag the other arrow down next to the microphone, next to the other one. So you're going to see circle to the right and circle to the left. Okay? Since we want him to wiggle a couple of times, we're going to repeat this. So circle right and circle left. Okay? You there? Thumbs up if you are. Awesome. So now that he's wiggled, he can take off and go to Earth. So that will be the up arrow, which is this one. So we're going to drag that one down and put it next to our rotating or our wigglies. And if you see, it has a 1 under it. So this would make it go up once. We actually want it to take off to go to Earth. So we're going to make him go many times up. So we're going to press on that 1 under the arrow. So this here. And we're going to make it go 50 times. So 5, press 5, and 0 on this calculator that appears. Okay? And now the rocket has done everything that he needs to do. So we're going to finish this line of code. We're going to go to the reds, and we're going to go to this red without arrows and put it there at the end. So just drag it over, okay? Hopefully you should have what you're seeing on your screen. So you should have the yellow block with 2 people, the recording that you did of 3, 2, 1 blast off, wiggling right, left, and then take off and go up 50 times, okay? You have that? Thumbs up if you do. Awesome. So now we are going to test run our program. So let's go up here and we're going to take off the grid lines. So there's right at the top, there's like this red cross, a red slant. Press on that and the grid lines will disappear. And now we're going to go to full screen mode. So you have the house and you have this rectangle here which has these things on the corner. So press on that and you go to full screen mode. And now to execute your program or to start it, just go here to the green flag. and you'll see the astronaut move, jump into the rocket. You'll hear 3, 2, 1 blast off, and your rocket should be going off to Earth. I'll let you guys try it. Cool? Awesome. Thank you very much for our first coding class. I hope you guys like it. I hope you're able to code something else with this so you can make the astronaut go in different directions. You can make the rocket also disappear. There's so many things you can experiment with now. I hope to see you next week in our next class. Thank you so much. Bye.